Hello folks, it's NBZ here, and I'm taking a look at a video game that came out recently. This is Creature in the Well by Flight School. It is on the Nintendo Switch, and it is a top-down, pinball, action, Zelda-y type of game. I say pinball and it looks like nothing like that is going on, but we'll see in a short bit. I got a review code for this game, so I thought I would give my impressions on it, some thoughts I'll obviously be talking about on the podcast as well. But yeah, just thought I'd show some of it off and how it works. So, as you can see, that's a ball that I'm pinging around in a pinball-esque fashion, and the majority of this game is like that, where you're going from room to room, finding little areas where there are a lot of things happening, things shooting at you, and you having to shoot back at them. I believe I might have already done this area, so I'm just going to skip past a bunch of this stuff. But yeah, so this game is interesting because you have a couple of different things you can do. The main thing you can do is obviously hit pinballs, and you have these little spawning areas here that spawn new pinballs for you to hit. But you have two ways of doing so. You can just hit it with your bat, and it'll go in different directions, and you can kind of aim it as a little arrow you can see. But the main kind of way that this works, and what makes it a little bit easier to control, is the fact that you have on the Y button the ability to kind of hold balls. And by holding balls, you can kind of aim in what direction you want them to go in, and so you can get a bit more precision where you want to aim them towards. You've also got a dash, and when you're using the Y button to kind of draw them into you, they will kind of stay with you while you dash for a brief period of time. So you can kind of do this and kind of keep balls with you for a long period of time, which is great. And then kind of direct them where you want them to go, which is pretty cool. I do like the way that they've implemented it, and it started out pretty tricky at first to get your hand around, or your head around as well, both hand and head, tricky things. But I feel like I'm in the rhythm of it. I've been enjoying it quite a lot. It tends to get a little repetitive. There are definitely rooms that you get to that are like, hey, I've kind of already done this. This one, not so much. This one's more like, oh god, how do I do anything, help me, I'm going to die. Obviously don't want to be on any of that red stuff whatsoever. And when the ball gets into this kind of red state, you can't hit it unless you kind of bring it into yourself to begin with. A couple of little upgrades that I've got. So you got different strike tools, different charge tools. These dual bit blades that I have actually give me like a laser sight, which is a lot more helpful than a lot of the other weapons I've had. And then this hammer that I recently got slows down time if I hold it down. So I've got some good tools actually to help me along on my adventure. Despite the fact that, you know, it can be tricky and I can take a lot of damage quite quickly. Your health doesn't really recharge unless you have some very specific scenarios. And oh god. And I can get pretty frantic, I have to say. It's one of those games that is somewhat tricky to talk about while playing, but I'm trying my best here. So yeah, a lot of the game's progression is based around this energy, right? So you can see in the top left-hand corner that I have an electricity bar with some numbers next to it. That is my energy meter. It's how much energy I have, how much energy I need. And you can open doors with energy. A lot of these doors I've already opened because I've already been through here. But as you go to new areas, new places, you will get the ability to get more energy. And oh dear, these guys are okay. This is whoa boy. These guys are tricky because you need to hit them with your own balls in order to destroy them. So definitely giving me a bit of a challenge here. So yeah, energy is the name of the game. And as you can see, I'm just getting a ton of it here. I just got 7,500, and I'm going to go ahead and use that for another door. The map's a little bit tricky to get your head around. If you take a look here, it's in a weird setup. Like, I kind of understand why they did it, because there are lots of branching paths and they go off in lots of different directions, but it is still a little bit of a conundrum sometimes to figure out exactly where you are. I think the place where I am now is where the fully white circle is embedded in that little notch, so I'm right in the corner. And there are a lot of extra rooms, right? Because when you have a game that is based around progression of like, you need enough energy to open this door, they need to give you enough energy to open enough doors to get to the point where you're never stuck, right? So you'll always have the requisite amount of energy you need to get to the next area, like directly in front of you. But you can also go off the hidden path and find different areas to find secrets. A lot of the extra weapons you'll get are based on that type of stuff. Here we are. So I think because this door has a lot of power required, 75,000, that's why they gave me all that extra roomage for me to go towards to figure it out. Yeah, story so far, not really anything to write home about. Very light narratively. And something that I'm not super, oh Jesus, invested in. These big red guys are interesting. They will give you a bit of a warning before they hit themselves off. But they will do a lot of damage to you. As you can see, I'm almost goddamn dead now. So, I'm going to have to find a way for myself to heal. Which there are heal rooms here and there, but they aren't very plentiful. And, you know, it's not particularly hard as a game so far. There have been areas that I found a bit more tricky. Apparently it does get quite a bit harder later on, but I think that the core of the problem with the game, which, you know, it's good. I enjoy it quite a bit. I think it's been fun. I think there's not enough new that's happening, right? Like, it seems like straight off the bat they give you a lot of tools. And those tools are great, and I appreciate that they give them to you quite quickly. You get both of these attacking weapons and holding weapons. But then it doesn't really give you much more than that, right? You have your basic dash, you got your weapons, and there hasn't been a huge amount of complexity added to your own moveset or unlockables. It's more so the environmental stuff that goes on, and as you saw, like the red laser beams on the floor, or even in that section there, the big circular explodies that do a lot of exploding on you. And then you also have like rooms like this, which is like, well, like it's kind of fun, right? It's kind of fun to ping things around all over the place. But there are a lot of rooms like this, and they kind of feel like they're there just to give you some energy. It would have been nice if there were less of these and maybe some more hidden areas. And there's lots of hidden areas in the game, I'm not going to begrudge it that allowed you the ability to potentially, you know, feel like you're struggling to get energy. Feel like, oh, I've really got to explore around and figure out a way to get energy. Because it does feel like they dole it on you, and as long as you are kind of following all the paths and not kind of just leaving stuff to the side, that you're going to be able to get through it quite easily. Which is fine, like not all video games have to have that level of challenge. Oh, and we have found a nice little area here. As you go around, you get different aesthetic things. The cape that I wear has different colours to it. I can change that if I want to. Kind of like this one. It's kind of a cool cape. And you like cores as well. Cores which you can go back to the shop and use for upgrades. And the such like. And the such like. But I just like dashing around, man. Dashing feels good. And I think that's the fundamental thing about Creature in the Well is like, hey, what do I like in video games? I like when video games feel good to play. This game certainly has that in abundance. Like it runs really nicely. Has a very clean aesthetic. Very stark. It goes along with some of the comic book-esque aesthetics that we've seen recently in lots of games. While also being quite kind of bold in its colour palette and kind of clean. Oh, that's nice. There we go. Got a nice little healy pond for me. Heal myself all the way back up to full. Which probably means there's a boss coming up of some kind. So we should be amply prepared for it. Ready to take it on. £30,000, quite a significant chunk. Oh, here he is. Hello. I told the scientists that there was no way this taped-together contraption could repel the stand. They did not listen. So that is the eponymous, or should I say, the titular creature in the well. You only really see its arms and its eyes. And it doesn't really bother you that much. He just pops in and says things now and again. So, you know, it's not really a huge threat. But he does, like, when you die, he kind of throws you out of the dungeon. And also, the boss fights are like this. Boss fights are interesting, right? So they are... You're not really fighting the creature in the well. You're kind of going upstairs. You're trying to going up a contraption. Here we go. This slow-mo I haven't had in a boss fight yet, so I think this is going to be quite helpful. to just hit very specific parts. Oh, that was good. That I want to hit. Okay, there we go. Just had to get all of those in line. Oh boy, here we go. Now it's going to start to really ramp up. So I think the best thing for me to do is to focus on the ball machines that are shooting at me. Jesus Christ. First of all, because they are going to be real dangerous. Okay. As soon as I stop them shooting out red balls, they'll shoot out just regular balls. Oh, God. So, yeah, like I said, like it feels like it's not too tricky, and then some of these boss fights can get to the point where you're like, it's a little bit bullet helly. That is the thing I've not really discussed before, is like, hey, this does have a bullet hell-esque feel to it, but it is to some degree more controlled, right? And I think that having the time slowing down ability has definitely helped me a lot. I think I've taken down all of the shooty patooties, so I'm not getting any evil things fired at me now, so just need to make sure that we are hitting... There we go! Oh boy, can I make it through without dying? I don't know, is the real question here. Okay. So basically I want to focus on the side that doesn't have the red laser on the floor. Because otherwise it'll ping all my balls back at me as giant red balls. That would be bad. Oh, there we go. I got him. I see. So maybe... I see what I have to do. I have to get the red laser onto the arm, so I can damage the arm. I see. Right, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Suck it, arm. Okay, maybe I should turn it back. At least I'm hearing death sounds from him, so I imagine that's what I'm supposed to do here. There we go. Okay, so I'm slowly but surely getting... I see. This is what gets tricky, though. When you have millions of balls going around the place, it gets hard to keep track of... Like, the balls will kind of do their own thing, if you know what I mean, right? No, I want to keep it on this side. There we go. So basically, he's taking away my ability to knock these down, and by having the red barrier there, it stops his ability to do that. That's what it seems, anyway. Jesus. Well, in any case, I think that pretty much aptly sums up Creature in the Well. We'll see if we can get through the fight or not. Okay, I need to move it to the other side. I will say frame rate definitely not holding up that well in this boss fight. Something that I've noticed here and there, but you know, pretty starkly clear here. Go. Should really be taking more advantage of this slow motion. There we go. Alright, we did it. Creature withdraws. Well, that was intense. Yeah, well, that's Creature in the Well. It is available on Switch and PC. It's actually available on Game Pass as well. Which I also have access to, so like I have a lot of ways to access this game if I so wanted to. I'm sure that you can find it out and about, and it's enjoyable. You know, it's kind of doing one thing, but it does it pretty well. I also like that I just get knocked down by my own balls. Good, that's good. So yeah, check it out. It's pretty enjoyable. Yep, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.